Although this is not a spring chicken, in the face of all these, shall we say, lawsuits between the Facebook and the White House, you're wondering, how in the world could all of that happen?
Yeah, it's all got to do with cookies.
Well, wait a minute, how can cookies relate to this? I mean, I've heard of cookie diets, and okay, this is not the Hollywood cookie diet, although I've heard that it works, but how does it have to do anything with cookies?
Okay, because cookies, okay, what it says, a computer cookie is a small text file which contains a unique ID tag placed on your computer by a website. Basically, what happened is in the White House case, whether they're going to admit it or not, every time you went to a government agency, any government agency, you put a cookie on your computer.
You know, a lot of people don't like to admit that, first of all, that they do it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of sites that do. We remove cookies continually because, first of all, it slows down your computer.
Oh, yeah.
And why do you do cookies, remove them from the website? Because wouldn't it be much easier to have it on there? We'd have higher hit counts.
What happens is, see, in our case, there are several services out there that rate your sites, and they put a cookie on your site, and what happens when people come to your site, that cookie is then put on everybody else's site. What we do is we have an agreement that we're not going to put cookies on other people's sites. You know, I mean, it gets there, but these are cookies strictly that are put there by our web provider, but it's not somebody. You know, what happens is, if we allowed it to happen, everybody would come to our site, place the cookie on us, and then this cookie goes to everybody else, and it goes to everybody else, and we get, I don't know, over 2,000 unique ISPs a day on our site. Can you imagine 2,000 multiplied by however many thousand they go by how many thousand? And it's basically your information on your computer being dumped out all these spots.
Yeah, but how does that relate to what the government is doing, or what's happening with Facebook?
Okay, in the government's case, Obama is trying to blame everybody, including George Bush, over the thing by saying it's third parties are responsible. Well, yes. What happens is that the cookie has your computer's ISP on it. When it has your ISP for your computer, it has access to everything in your computer, including your email directory.
Well, actually, so that's one of the reasons. Remember, I think one of the news stations had a problem with that because they said you went to the government website and it basically said that if by clicking on this button you agree that we can...
All the people that went to the original Cash for Clunkers agreed to turn their computers over to all the contents became the property of the United States government. That included your address books.
Now that's kind of scary because a lot of people, people keep everything on their computers now.
That's right.
And we're not just talking about business documents
either.
either.
If they, okay, to put it this way, say you pay your bill online, what happens is the cookie for like American Express, Bank of America, whatever banks that are still in existence today, they put a cookie on your computer at that time. And that cookie has all the information that you just simply fed to them.
So wait a minute, it's got your account information,
yep,
your passwords.
That's right.
So basically, if somebody accesses your computer and has that information, they can go through and raid all your accounts.
They can raid everything, which is why it is the dangerous part. This is why when the president says that everybody but George Bush, everybody including George Bush is responsible for it, there was the absolute truth because they didn't have to gather any information. Say you contacted the Department of Motor Vehicles in your state. Mm-hmm. That puts a cookie on it, and then that cookie is basically automatically sent to the federal government because the federal government has a cookie placed on the Department of Motor Vehicles in your state.
So wait a minute, does that mean, how long does that cookie stay on there? Is it as long as before you clean out your cookies?
Okay, if you don't clean it out, okay, they said most cookies are only there for 24 hours.
Yeah.
There are two types of computer cookies, a temporary and permanent one. Temporary cookies are session cookies. They're stored temporarily in your browser's memory and they're deleted as you end a session by closing the browser. Permanent cookies are persistent cookies. They're stored permanently on your computer's hard drive, and if deleted will be recreated the next time you visit the sites that placed them there. So it's a never-ending process.
So, well then how do you ever get rid of them?
You have to do like I do. I mean, okay, 2 to 3 times a day, I clean out the cookies, and I leave the ones that are important, which is basically...
You can selectively remove them then?
We can selectively remove them with some of the software we have. Like Adaware can selectively remove. Our system suite can selectively remove. And then we've got, you can basically, you can actually delete all the cookies on your computer just in one sweep shot. It says, you know, some of these cookies may be important. Well, Microsoft doesn't like you to remove their cookies, but then Microsoft also, the instant you turn your computer back on again, you end up, if you go to the internet, you end up getting a cookie from Microsoft.
Well, wait, so, actually, I'm sitting there thinking they turn it back on. So, remember that question that they ask is, do you want us to automatically check for updates?
Yeah,
Is that a cookie?
that's a cookie.
Okay.
That every time you install a piece of software on your computer, it puts a cookie on it. I want to give an example. Yesterday, we did an upgrade on a MIDI program that I had, and because the instant I turn my my MIDI program on to begin with, it contacts the internet. And when it contacts the internet, it puts the cookie back that I take it off from their thing. Because we have a thing basically on the deal. Do you want this program to connect to the internet? Well, since we have to look for updates continually, that cookie turns this on. There are cookies you cannot remove in your computer no matter what.
Okay, so is that how software companies know if you're using the software on more than one computer?
That's how they know if you're using it on more than one computer.
Now, can you get cookies from somebody else sending you an email?
Yep, because they've got cookies on their computers, and the instant you open certain cookies attach themselves to the emails of everybody. This is how they, it would say that Monty wants to keep track of what Sydney's doing on her computer. So Monty basically attaches a cookie to all of the outgoing email, so that when Sydney contacts Monty, Sydney sends Monty a cookie. Monty then sends Monty cookie back to Sydney, and they're basically then they can watch what's going on in these people's computer no matter what they say. It's basically the massive danger.
Talk about Big Brother.
Yeah, if you keep your computer turned on all the time, hooked into the internet all the time, you run the danger if you don't have massive firewalls like we also have. We got firewalls on top of firewalls.
Part of it is that a lot of times people get a program and they think it cleans out all the cookies.
No.
But can one program do it?
No. We've got, we have 4 programs that clean cookies out, plus you still, when you get done with your 4 programs, there can still be a couple of thousand cookies left. You have to go to the Internet Explorer, if you're using it, go to the cookie thing and then X out cookies there.
Well, because part of it is a lot of times when you install the programs, they say, this may conflict with other programs.
Yep, they tell you, they warn you not to take cookies off, but I've gotten...
And they tell you, only use this program.
Yeah. So, well, the problem is all the adware and all the malware stuff conflicts with everything, because the way that works is, remember that they pay people to ignore. People pay the companies to ignore certain cookies that are put on computers.
Oh, I bet a lot of people didn't realize that.
That's right.
Say that one again so people understand that.
Say like Symantec, Adware, System Suite, all the companies are paid by companies to ignore the certain cookies, because first of all, they're listed as harmless, so they allow that to happen, but the harmless cookie is just as dangerous as the other, because it's still shifting information back and forth.
So how do you know you have a cookie on your computer?
You
turn it on.
You turn it on. The instant you turn your computer on, if it is hooked to the internet, if you have Internet Explorer, if you have Netscape, if you have Chrome, if you have Firefox, it just puts a cookie on you right off the bat.
Is there a way to avoid getting cookies?
Nope. It's a fact of life.
Okay, so no matter what happens, you're going to get it. So how can you avoid getting as many cookies?
Basically, if you you have to not go to the internet and not use email, or you have to do what I do. I have our main computer is only hooked up to the internet once a month.
Okay.
So that's the only way you can do it, but...
Because I've heard of some people having computers that only go onto the internet.
Yeah.
Well, actually, like you had just said, the main computer doesn't go on.